welcome back to another episode of Cocktails with Ciara. My name is Ciara and I'm a whiskey-loving Irish gal who's on a cocktail voyage of discovery. If you are new here, I have zero professional bar experience other than a passion for making mixed drinks at home and showing you how I do it. So hit that subscribe button, stick around, and we both just might learn something, because if I can do it, you can do it. In today's video, we are going to be making a cocktail that has been very highly requested, and it is a cocktail heavyweight. This is absolutely no joke of a drink, and it's also a really stunning summery tiki drink. So today we are going to be making, finally, a zombie. Now, although admittedly I am someone who very much enjoys a strong drink, I have to be honest, I don't actually think I've ever tried a zombie cocktail before. I've certainly heard tales told about it. I have friends who have very good zombie cocktail stories from nights out. I don't think I've ever had one before, so this will be my first zombie experience. Now, if you haven't heard about the zombie cocktail before, it has reached somewhat of a legendary status because it is an incredibly strong cocktail. So much so that most all bars and restaurants that serve it, they will only allow you to have 2 of them. I would imagine that the poor fecker who was the reason behind the 2 zombie maximum rule being put into place probably has a really good story. So before we get into the history of a zombie cocktail and I show you how I make it at home, I would like to take a second to tell you about my Patreon. Not only is it a great way of supporting my channel, but you can also have access to exclusive content. You can join in on my monthly live stream with my Patreon community, and you can see the footage that is just too tipsy for YouTube. You can guarantee I will be filming one right after this video with my zombie. Okay, so let's look at the history of a zombie. Unlike a lot of older cocktails that have a somewhat murky or contested past, we actually know exactly where and when the zombie was invented. The zombie was invented in 1934 by a fella called Don Beach, aka Don the Beachcomber, who is hailed as the founding father of tiki culture. The story goes that this cocktail was first created when one of Don's patrons came in nursing a particularly bad hangover. In Ireland, we would say he was hanging out of his arse, which is a very graphic visual, but nonetheless, the man was suffering, and he asked Don to whip him up something so he could survive through this meeting. Don whipped up the fabulous zombie cocktail. The client drank it and went along to his meeting, and apparently he came back a few days later and said that he was like a zombie during the meeting. So I don't know if he means if it worked or didn't work, but nonetheless, that is what the drink was called, and it became a massively popular tiki drink, particularly on the East Coast at the time, but it has remained somewhat of a classic to this day. So now that I've given you a little bit of history on the zombie cocktail, let's get into its ingredients. Now, as I mentioned, the zombie cocktail is a gorgeous summery tiki cocktail, but like a lot of other tiki cocktails that we have looked at, its beautiful fruity flavor is very deceptive and conceals a serious amount of alcohol power. There is a very good reason why it is usually limited to 2 per customer. Another thing that's important to note when looking at the zombie is because its original ingredients were kept under lock and key for so long by its creator, which was kind of the style of tiki drinks at the time. A lot of them were kept kind of secretive to their creators. It means that there are a lot of different variations of this drink. There are some key components, however. There are a lot of different things that you could include in a zombie. I'm going to try to stick to the traditional recipe as much as I can. This is, of course, a rum-based drink, and I have some fabulous ones here that I'm going to use. I would really love to use an overproof rum. I know Goslings do a 151 proof, but I'm telling you, it is really flipping hard to get my hands on some of those spirits right now, and when I do get it, I will definitely do a revisit and make an absolute rocket of a zombie. But for now, I'm going to be using the Goslings that I have here. I have their Bermuda Black Rum. This is 80 proof. It's really, really nice. I've made many a gorgeous tiki drink with this rum before. I also have some Appleton Estate Reserve Blend Jamaican rum that I can use, and I actually have some Appleton Jamaican White Rum as well. So I could just put all 3 in. So along with our rums, we are also going to be using some freshly squeezed lime juice, and we are also going to be using some pineapple juice, which sadly I don't have a fresh pineapple to squeeze, but I do have Tropicana 100% pure pressed fruit juice. So I think this will be nice. It's been a long time since I've had pineapple juice. Ooh. Oh, that reminds me of a pina colada so much. I really need to make that again.
Where is my grenadine?
It's a mess in here. Ah! Oh shit. So I went rooting in the cupboard and I found found my grenadine. I really like using this in very small amounts because, as I've said before, it looks and smells like cough syrup. It's so sweet. So we've got our rum, our fresh lime juice, our pineapple juice, our grenadine, and then for our garnish, you can kind of pick and choose, but I think some of the traditional garnishes use an orange slice, which I have, and some maraschino cherries, which I always look for an excuse to include into a drink because it means I can eat like 20 of them while I'm using one. All right, so enough chatting. Let's get into actually making a zombie. A little tip when you're making stronger drinks like this, it's always good to start by adding the non-alcoholic, aka less expensive ingredients first, because if you're doing something like this where you're adding in like 3 different types of rum and then you realize that you've messed it up or you've like dropped an eggshell in there, you're gonna have to redo it. So learn from my past mistakes and start with your juices first. It's usually just a really, really good rule of thumb. 50 mils actually seems like quite a lot, but I love the taste of lime, so I really don't mind. In she goes. Next up, we're going to do 150 mils of pineapple juice. So in we go. There we go. Now we're doing 1 teaspoon of cough syrup. I mean grenadine. So let's pop that in. Oh my God. That's kind of a generous teaspoon. It is time to add the fun stuff. So I'm going to start with the Gosling. That's about 25. So a very generous 25 mils of our Appleton white rum. And then I'm thinking that because we're not doing an overproof rum, why don't we just put in 25 mils of Appleton? I have done 3 different types of rum in a drink before when I made a Mai Tai with Clasair, so like we've been here before, let's just do it. So that is all of our ingredients. I'm just gonna give it a little shake. I don't think it needs a big shake, but we'll give it a little one. Okay, so, oh, it smells really good. Now, obviously, when it comes to tiki drinks, it is all about the presentation, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce my new tiki mug. It's actually my first tiki mug. I've never used one on this channel before. Like, how fun is that? I know you can strain it, but I have seen a lot of videos of people just pouring it in. So I'm just gonna do that. Oh wow, it fits perfectly. Okay, so that's worked out really, really well. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get my garnish ready. Okay, so how am I gonna do this? Put a little snip in this and try and have this rest over the glass. Okay, that's working, that's working. Don't know, is 3 necessary, but any excuse. There, oh my God, amazing. Don't sink, don't sink. To top it all off, I'm just gonna add in a nice jazzy straw. And it's done! Our zombie is ready. She looks beautiful. Adding a tiki glass really amps up the production value of the drink. I think you would agree. Now, as I said, I actually don't think I've had a zombie cocktail before, so I'm absolutely dying to try her. So if you'll join me over on my cocktail drinking chair, let's try her and see how she tastes. Okay, we are back in the cocktail drinking chair. I am so excited to try this. Got the actual weight of it in my hands. Oh, it's delicious. Okay, well, my first impressions are that I totally understand the 2-drink rule per customer because this is rocket fuel. Now, I know my palate for really strong tastes with alcohol is just a little bit askew, but genuinely, I do not think this drink tastes in any way as strong as it actually is. It tastes summery and fruity, obviously getting the pineapple, the lime, and actually the grenadine, as sickly as I find it on its own, works really, really well in this. It is delicious. To be totally honest with you, I think it is a blessing that I had not discovered this before the bars closed, because me on these on a night out, I'd be an absolute danger to society. I would love to know, is there a different way that you make the zombie at home? I know there are lots of different variations for this. I know I need to try a very high proof rum version and I'm working on it, but I would love to know what your recommendations are for making the perfect zombie. Maybe I could make it a little stronger. Maybe I made it too strong. I would also love to know what other cocktails you would like to see me make here on this series. Maybe there are some other amazing tiki ones, because I love making tiki cocktails. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you have not already, then be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new cocktail videos every single week and I would love to have you back for more. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next one. Cheers!